Ay, ay, ay. Erdogan wins, but the
Erdogan
Turk.
must be feeling pretty invincible right now after winning yet another election. However, he won't be for long because he's really pushed Turkey's economy to the brink to pull off this win. So now, as the lira nosedives and his unorthodox mix of solutions is starting to crumble, the Turkish economy is rapidly nearing its breaking point. Just to illustrate,
The thing is, I don't even understand. Like, I mean, he has strangled the Turkish lira. Okay. However, and you can't do that unless you're America. You can't just like a lot of other countries think that they could just like print as much money as they want without any sort of like financial feedback. Okay. But it doesn't work that way because only America gets to do some version of modern monetary theory, which they're not really doing, but like they could do. You know what I mean? Because America is the world's bank. When Turkey does it, especially if you're sometimes in opposition to the United States, like your currency is going to get hyper devalued. Okay. Meanwhile, uh, considering that your economy is pegged to the dollar, your everything is going to become more and more expensive, even though your currency is devalued. However, because of the way that Turkey presents itself in the global marketplace, you don't even get you don't even necessarily get the influx of foreign capital into Turkey that would then come in. Okay, that would then come in and basically like purchase everything for pennies on the dollar, because at least back when I used to cover this kind of stuff. I mean, when I even worked many years ago at Haberturk, Bloomberg Haberturk, many years ago. One thing that foreign capital always the perspective that foreign capital always had about the Turkish economy is that it is incredibly corrupt. And there's a lot of truth to that, which is why people don't want to do a lot of investment in Turkey. So that's another reason why the economy doesn't even recover and doesn't even see the supposed quote unquote benefits that you would possibly get from your devalued currency.
how little time the country has left, the Financial Times has reported that in the 6 weeks leading up to the first election round, Turkey's central bank lost roughly 15% of its foreign exchange reserves in an effort to prevent the lira from falling faster than it already did. So the market participants are now increasingly betting on an imminent default of the Turkish government, and this means that Turkey could soon join countries like Lebanon, Sri Lanka, and Argentina to become the latest economic basket case. But why now? Why is Turkey's economy now reaching a breaking point after it held out so much longer than many analysts predicted? And is there any way that it can still be saved? To answer these questions, let's first do a quick recap of the two big problems that have been plaguing the Turkish economy. For years now, while the Turkish economy grew at an impressive pace, its currency, the lira, kept falling, contributing to sky-high inflation in Turkey as imports kept getting more expensive. Luckily, economists and the Turkish government largely agreed on the two big problems, leading to the lira's rapid decline. We'll dive into those two details after I tell you all about the sponsor of today's video, the Daily Upside. As anyone who spends time consuming financial content is well aware,
Holy fuck, that's a
led
long
to
ass
the
sponsor.
lira's rapid decline. The first problem was a massive trade deficit, meaning that for years Turks have been importing more than they export. This has consistently put pressure on the Turkish lira. After all, to buy foreign goods, you need foreign currency. And so, on average, for import-focused Turkey, there was a lot more demand for foreign currency than for the Turkish lira. The second problem was rapid dollarization, meaning that in essence, a small dollar-based economy grew inside Turkey that was getting bigger and bigger as Turks increasingly felt that their own currency was losing its value too.
This is precisely the reason why I said, is that true? Yes. This is literally the reason why it doesn't matter like when this is why it's significantly more devastating when the dollar the price of a dollar it becomes more powerful in comparison to the Turkish lira because the entire fucking economy operates on the dollar all of a sudden.
Fast. Ironically, this made the lira fall even more as Turks increasingly sold their liras so that they could save in dollars, euros, or gold. But while economists and the Turkish government basically agreed on these two problems, they didn't agree on a solution. You see, the standard way that economists recommend that you deal with a currency that is falling too fast is to raise interest rates. This will simultaneously discourage banks from lending into.
Dude, listen, I know that Turkey Turkey is a very interesting country when it comes to its foreign policy. Like they're part of NATO, but they also are like always collaborating with the Russian government, and they have a much more neutral stance towards Russia. However, what would be truly interesting and kind of awesome is if they had a more collaborative relationship with China. Now, I don't know if they will do that. I'm not entirely familiar with like Chinese-Turkish relations. I know that like Erdogan talks about the Uyghur Turks regularly because he's like, they're Turks, they're Turkic, they're our people, but I don't know how, I don't know how much he cares about that ultimately. I have heard him talk about it before. He ignores it. Uygurları götüne takmıyor. Okay, well, he never talked about Uyghurs. No, they see it as they see Uyghur Turks as like I mean there are literally Uyghur Turks in fucking Syria. What are you talking about? The Turkish military trains some of the Uyghurs. 100%. They used to. I don't know if they still do. But if you think that they don't, you're wrong. They train them in collaboration with the American government as well. What the Erdogan government says versus what they do is two entirely different things. You have to remember that. He ignores it and sweeps under the rug for the most part. Çin'in anlaşma yaptıkları için susuyorlar. Okay, well, I don't know what their relationship is going to be with China, but that could be one avenue of some kind of economic revival, potentially.
To an economy that is running too hot, decreasing inflation, and it will also make the currency more attractive for both foreign investors as well as local Turks by offering a higher return. However, Turkey's president Erdogan famously hates high interest rates, be it for religious reasons, saying stuff like this at his rallies.
Onların dolarları varsa bizim Allah'ımız var.
Or some say that he believes in a highly
Ulan Allah ne yapacak? Ekmeğin fiyatı hala neyse ne yani. Onu istediği kadar istediği kadar Allah Ekber de olmaz yani. Ekmek hala 5 lira 10 lira. Oh no, that's crazy. He said the notion of like being anti-usury because you're Muslim is pretty funny. Islam does consider usury to be a sin. So does Christianity, technically. Out of the Abrahamic religions, the only one that doesn't consider usury to be a sin is Judaism. However, it doesn't really matter. Everybody loves interests. Everybody loves interest. Everybody loves debt. It's fucking ridiculous to claim that like he has any kind of like religious purpose behind it. I don't think that's the reason.
Orthodox economic theory that predicts that interest rates that are high actually cause higher inflation. But whichever it is, he often ordered the central bank to lower interest rates precisely when standard economic theory would advise that you raise them. And this is why economists have long been predicting the collapse of the lira. However, as I discussed on this channel at the end of 2022, this did not lead to the collapse of the lira at the time because Erdogan's government was tackling the lira's fall using some highly unorthodox solutions. First, Turkey's central bank sold off a lot of its foreign exchange reserves to prop up the lira, and then, when it basically ran out, it convinced former geopolitical rivals in the area to lend it foreign exchange reserves in exchange for political favors so that it could keep propping up the lira. Second, to counter dollarization, it started its so-called lirarization strategy. Now, in effect, this meant that Turks which had foreign currency could open a special deposit account for which the government would compensate them with more liras if the lira fell so much that the owner would have been better off keeping the dollars. And actually, this worked for a while, halting dollarization, stabilizing the lira, and this gave the Turkish government some time to tackle its other big problem, its trade deficit. However, despite some successes like opening a massive new gas field in the Black Sea, Turkey's trade deficit got wider than ever before. Now, the most likely explanation for this is that throughout 2023, Erdogan encouraged the Turkish banks to extend more and more credit, and this new money in Turkish hands was spent buying more stuff in Turkey, increasing inflation, and it was also spent outside of Turkey, driving the value of the lira lower. And so, after some relative stability, the lira continued its fall, and this now means that Turkey's economy is nearing a breaking point. You see, the fall of the lira is now undermining both of Erdogan's unorthodox solutions. First, while the Gulf states have been willing to support the lira in exchange for political influence, its continued slide is making it riskier and riskier for them to keep lending dollars to Turkey because of the decreased chance that Turkey can pay them back. And as we've seen with Pakistan recently, while Gulf states have deep pockets, they are not prepared to back countries indefinitely. Second, while Erdogan's lira deposit scheme was a big success, it was also rather risky. You see, if it worked in stabilizing the lira, it wouldn't cost the Turkish government anything. After all, they only need to pay out extra compensation if the lira loses value. But now that the lira keeps sliding, the Turkish state will have to pay these deposit holders a lot of extra liras, which could force it to start printing them, which could further devalue the currency. In other words, Erdogan's innovative but risky lirarization strategy could now lead to a doom loop of paying deposit holders with newly printed currency, which devalues the lira, and so on. But will it, or can Erdogan save the lira once more? Well, that is highly uncertain. So, as I often do on this channel, I shall present you with 3 scenarios and give them all a likelihood. The first scenario is another Turkish miracle. In this scenario, the Turkish government convinces Arab backers to give them once again more money. At the same time, having won the election, the newly elected government now takes steps to cool down bank lending in the country, which combined with rising gas production reduces domestic inflation and turns Turkey's trade deficit into a surplus. This will eventually halt the fall of the lira and increases the chances that its lirarization policy is also a success. Sadly, I don't think this scenario is very likely and give it a 15% likelihood since the Turkish central bank is running out of reserves so fast. Just to get an idea of how fast, while Turkey secured almost $20 billion loans from Arab states last year, it just burnt through 17 billion in reserves in the 6 weeks just before the election. The next 2 scenarios are therefore breaking point scenarios.
Link gönderin. Canlı
However,
söylüyorsa
they play
şarkı.
out very differently. In the second scenario, Erdogan once again surprises
Send me a link
friend and
of
foe
him
and
singing.
returns to economic orthodoxy. In this scenario, the central bank will raise interest rates and the government will get an IMF loan. To appease them, however, it will introduce austerity measures. This will lead to a painful economic recession, which will eventually stop.
You can't send me links unless you're subscribed, though. Okay? When you subscribe at the top of the hour, you get to avoid the ad breaks at the top of the hour. You also have link privileges. You can subscribe for $5 or I think it's like 10 lira in Turkey still.
Muhalif seçmene ne söyleyecek?
Evet, onlara ne diyecek?
Yani sonuçta bir 25 milyon insan şu anda beklemediği bir sonuçla karşılaştı. Yani ilk turdan önce zaten hiç beklemiyordu. Ben şöyle söyleyeyim, yani ben CHP'nin önemli yöneticileriyle görüştüğümde biz kabineyi konuşuyoruz diyorlardı. Yani şu an bir seçim...
No, not this. Okay.
Biz severiz. Kandil'dekiler sevmez.
People in the Kandil don't like it, but we like
Onların
it.
uzantıları sevmez.
Their extensions don't
Ama
like
biz
it,
severiz.
but we love it. I don't know what he's talking about.
Şu andaki tablo sevgililerin tablosu.
Baron Cat.
Resmi rakam
Sakura Gore, thank you for the 10.
320 bin kişi şu anda burada. Yolları
Kandiliz
söylemiyorum.
PKK. Oh.
Havalimanından buraya kadar yollar maşallah tıklım tıklımdır.
He's saying it's packed. The roads are slammed all the way from here to the airport.
Sizler Cumhur İttifakı'nı mahcup etmediniz. Cumhur İttifakı'nı bu yolda yalnız komadınız.
You did not leave our
Bu yolda beraber
our coalition
yürüdük.
behind. You protected us.
Gece gündüz demeden yürüdük.
We kept
Ve
walking night and
sizler
morning.
bu görevi yine bizlere verdiniz.
You gave us the job
İnşallah
once again.
Türkiye 100 yılını beraber inşa ve ihyaya devam ediyoruz.
We're going to keep building for the next
Hazır
100
mıyız buna?
years.
Aziz milletim, ekranları başında bizleri izleyen kıymetli vatandaşlarım.
All of you that are watching in
Sevgili
home,
Ankaralılar.
at home. The people of Ankara. I don't know what they're saying. Ne diyorlar lan?
Değerli dava ve yol
İşte
arkadaşlarım.
ordu, işte komutan.
Sizlere en
Oh, they're
kalbi
saying here
duygularımla,
is the military. This is our military. This is our commander.
Cumhurbaşkanlığı seçiminin ikinci turu. Hamdolsun kayda değer herhangi bir sıkıntı, sorun yaşanmadan tamamlanmıştır.
Bro, look, Kahramanmaraş, 75% Erdoğan, bro.
Gayri resmi
75% Erdoğan.
göre milletimiz Cumhurbaşkanlığı görevini
There you go.
5 yıllığına daha
That's
bizlere
fucking
tevdi
crazy.
etmiştir.
So I need you to understand. I need you to understand something. Like, this dude is
Ülkeyi
popular as
yönetme
fuck.
sorumluluğuna
Okay.
Bizleri tekrar
The
layık
idea that
gören
he's not
milletimin
popular is
her
not
bir
true. He
ferdine
is still incredibly fucking
şükranlarımı
popular.
sunuyorum.
It's still, like, I would go so far as to say he's more popular than any fucking American leader. You know what I mean? Like, in the United States of America, the plurality doesn't vote, right? In a country like Turkey, this dude's real popularity is probably higher than like an American president's popularity at any given
Yurt
moment.
içinde ve yurt dışında sandık başına giderek iradesine sahip çıkan
Is it because he owns the press?
demokrasimizin gücünü
It's because he owns the
ispatlayan
press. It's a multitude of different reasons I've mentioned before. Aha,
teşekkür
kilis.
ediyorum.
Amına koyayım, kilise bak 69 vermişler. Yuh.
Bu süreçte seçimin en
70%
sağlıklı şekilde yürümesi
Where
için
my grandparents are from.
Görev yapan-
A vote for Erdoğan.
kamu personelini,
Aha,
parti
Konya.
temsilcilerini,
Konya'dan bekliyoruz ama
sandık
bunu.
görevlilerini, müşahitleri, emniyet mensuplarını
The Alabama of Turkey.
tebrik ediyorum. Çok partili siyasi hayatımızın en önemli seçimlerinden birinde milletimiz kararını Türkiye 100 yılından yana kullanmıştır. Seçimin ilk turunda milletimiz Türkiye Büyük Millet Meclisi üyelerinin çoğunluğunu Cumhur İttifakı'na vererek yasamadaki tercihini
Yes, katılım means
zaten
turnout.
ortaya koymuştur. Bugün yapılan ikinci tur seçimiyle
İş Kodra'dan selamlar mı lan?
milletimizin Cumhurbaşkanlığındaki yani yürütmedeki tercihi de kesinleşmiştir.
Why do they like him so
Milletimizin her
much? Because he's like a fucking religious cult-like leader, brother. He tugs on the heartstrings in a very weird way. He is like the singular force of the singular champion of the Islamic world in the eyes of a lot of people. He's like the He's like restoring the caliphate and the Ottoman Empire to all of its glory. They think that like he is literally like God King. You know what I mean? That's his guy. Partially, and this is controversial, and I think Turkish people might get mad at me for saying this, but partially because there was a lot of religious oppression. There was a decent amount of religious oppression, but it's the same fucking conservative rhetoric and the conservative mentality in Turkey. They saw him from the jump as like the defender of Muslims. That like the government since Atatürk, since its inception, has always defended like Western liberalism and principles like that. So him like basically fucking turning around. It's like kind of wild to see like a photo of Atatürk, the founder of Turkey, side by side with him, because like he literally went to jail for shitting on Atatürk. You know what I mean? Like he is not a fan. Their fan base are not a fan, but that actually changed a little bit in the rhetoric over the course of the past 5 years, 10 years, I would say, where they basically decided, no, we are actually like pro Atatürk, but they never were originally. Originally, the opinion was that like the original opinion was that like Atatürk is a drunk, he's a bad guy, he was a Western element, and he actually tampered the Islamist movement within the country. And now they actually still, from one side of their mouths, shit on him, which is a big no-no in Turkey. And then on the other side, they say, no, actually, he's very similar. His principles are similar to our principles.
85 milyonun hep beraber olmasından kaynaklanıyor. Şimdi burada ben hesap uzmanı değilim. Ama hesap uzmanının hesabında galiba bir yanlışlık var.
Will he win again in 5 years? Bro, I don't fucking know. Dude, a lot can change from here to next week in Turkey, okay?
2018'de CHP vekil sayısı 146 idi. Hesap yapıyoruz ya. 2023'te vekil sayısı 169. Gördüğünüz gibi bir artış var. Fakat burada kiralık vekiller var. 40 tane
I
kiralık
guess
vekil.
you can't say that 129 is bigger than 146.
Bu milletvekilleri sayısını düşürene de
So I guess
haydi diyemezsiniz.
you can say it's okay if you drop down the number of your MPs from 146 to 129.
Bir video çekimiyle haydi diyebilirsiniz ama
Ben
So most
Kemal
probably
Gelin
this person in question can say, come on, with a video shoot together with the Candle
düşmüş
Mountain
durumda.
terrorists, but this nation didn't fall into your trap because you have already lost 17 of your MPs.
Sassy X Bell, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. He's not legally allowed for a third run. Bitch, what do you mean? There's like 11 different components that he overrode just to
My dear
fucking
brothers
run
and
this time
sisters.
around. What are you talking about?
What
He
was
can,
he saying?
This is his third run. He can run as many times as he wants, bro. He
He was
changes the
saying
rules
that if
every
you
time.
want
What are you
to-
talking about? There's no fucking rules for Erdogan. Bro, he changed the law. So he did a referendum. He utilized the momentum and the martial law that was set in order after the fucking coup d'etat that failed to literally put forward a referendum and change the Turkish constitution from a parliamentary structure to a presidential one where he consolidated power. He already had all of the power, but he already had all of the power regardless. But now he basically solidified the power that he had, okay? He made it legal, okay? It doesn't fucking matter what the rules are. He is very similar. I know I say like Erdogan is similar to Donald Trump in many ways, but he's actually very similar to Vladimir Putin. Like it's a much better comparison in my opinion, okay? very, very similar to Vladimir Putin in the same exact way. His modus operandi is like pretty much identical to Vladimir Putin, and he is more shrewd than Donald Trump is.
Adalet mülkün esasıdır.
Justice is the basis of the state, according to our understanding, and that cannot be changed.
And the people that are saying he's going to die of colon cancer soon, motherfucker, he's been supposedly dying of colon cancer for 20 years, okay? Get the fuck out of here. You can't rely on him possibly dying of colon cancer, okay? It's just, that's never going to happen.
Rahmetli Menderes'in yeter söz milletindir diyerek.
As Menderes was saying, enough is enough. The word belongs to the nation. So the doors of a brand new era has been opened back then in 1950s, and as of 1950s we have been faced with many challenges, and behind all those challenges, of course,
Erdoğan daha
there was
100
the
yıl daha
process of
yönetecek
weakening
size
the strength
kudur
of Turkey.
FETÖ'cüler.
That's why the coups
Oğlum
have been
FETÖ'cülerin
plotted,
amına
and that's
koyayım ben. Ne gerizekalı
why the
adamsın. Milli
memorandums
irade
have been
tecelli oldu.
given, and
Kudur
that's why the
FETÖ'cü.
coalition governments
And
have
of course,
been formed.
And of course, this man's fucking dogs are coming in here to be like, dude, you're FETÖ'cü. Yeah, dude, totally. I'm a very religious guy. Yeah, I'm from the same... You think I'm a supporter of the same fucking religious cult that this fucking dickhead was a part of? Get the fuck out of here.
Economic potential to be tapped, unfortunately, have been prevented for this very reason.
Güneyindeki, kuzeyindeki,
In
batısındaki
eastern,
güç ve etki
western,
alanların
northern,
üzeri
and southern
bunun için örtülmüştür.
part of our country, our area of
Üzerimize
influence, have
giydirilen
been indeed
ve bize
tarnished and
dar
covered.
gelen deli gömlekleri içinde
So inside of
yıllarca boğanların
those
korkusu hep
shapes that have been
bugün
imposed
müjdesini
to
verdiğimiz
us, we have
Türkiye
been indeed
yüzyılının
asphyxiated
bir gün
with the
gelip
climate of fear, but
kapılarına
even under such
dayanacak.
circumstances, we have always
Bugün
heralded the
işte
good news, saying
bugündür.
that the century of
Siz
Turkey
burada bugün
will be knocking on
onun
our
için
doors. So this
varsınız.
is that very day, and this is why you are here with us.
Bugün rahmetli Menderes'in
Today-
uğruna canını verdiği demokrasi ve kalkınma hamlelerimizin en üst seviyeye
Is the
ulaşma
day
günüdür.
when we are
Bugün
making
rahmetli
sure that our
Özal'ın
democratic
son
reforms
nefesine
and
kadar
economic development
hep
reaches
peşinde
to the
koştuğu
peak point.
büyük Türkiye
Today
hayalinin
is the
gerçeğe
day
dönüşme sürecinin başlama günüdür.
of the initiation
Rahmetli
for
Erbakan'la
realizing the
rahmetli
century of
Türkeş'e
Turkey.
davalarına aşkla bağlı milletin tüm
Özal
adamlarının
dreamt for it.
mücadelelerinin
Today is
gayesine
the
ulaşma günüdür.
day where we are yielding the results of all those important
21
statesmen
yıldır
like
ülkemize
Erbakan.
kazandırdığımız
Today
eserlerin, milletimize yaptığımız hizmetlerin
Is the
üzerine
day
Türkiye 100 yılının
when
müjdesini
we herald the good news of the century of
İşte bunu
Turkey, which
sizlerle
will be
yapıyoruz.
built onto the achievements of the
Sizlerle
last
yaptık.
21 years. And we have done this together with you, and we will build the century of
Bugün-
Turkey together with you.
hem kendi vatandaşlarımızın
Today
hem de kendi geleceklerini bizimle birlikte gören
is the
dost
day
ve
of our
kardeşlerimizin
own citizens, our
şükür
nationals,
dualarının
and at the same time our brothers and sisters who see their future together with us, and their prayings are also heard. When the ballot boxes are closed, we have received many phone calls from the Gulf countries all the way to the UK, to the Russia. All the heads of state have congratulated me,
bu tebriklerin
and
devam edeceğini görüyoruz.
I also see that those congratulations messages will continue tomorrow. For the last 10 years, many traps have been set against Turkey, many dirty games have been played, and Turkey has been tried to be stabbed in the back, and Turkey has tried to be stumbling upon, and all of those games have been played in order to prevent this day. The German and the French journals and also the English journals were making headlines in order to make sure that Erdogan
No, it's not going to be about Turkey all day today, man. Shut the fuck up. It's like It's only been 2 hours, okay? This is a pretty fucking important election. We're going to get to the debt ceiling in a second. Don't
You
worry.
have seen all those alliances set against us for many months, and you have seen whom are cooperating with who. So from all those terrorist organizations to the deviant movements, you have seen who was standing against us, and you have seen all those dirty games played. But what happened in the end? Thanks to God, they didn't achieve and they didn't accomplish their targets. Hopefully from now on, they will not be able to achieve anything, because this nation has such a solid character and has such a strong wisdom. And this nation has shown it after every calamity and challenge that they have faced with. So for this very reason, it's not possible for anyone to find the weakness of this Turkish nation, so anyone who tries it will lose again. Only throughout the latest election, what we have witnessed showed us this principled and honorable stance of our nation. As long as we have such a strong bridge of love between us and our nation, if God is willing, there is no problem that we cannot solve, and there is no fight that we cannot win. So, once again, I would like to express that I am grateful to my God for making me one of the members of this great nation. My august nation, my dear brothers and sisters, as the elections are over, we can allocate all our time and all our energy to work, to create masterpieces and to serve to this nation. In order to heal the wounds inflicted by the disaster of the century, the 6th
Is this a good guy or a bad guy? No, he's a very bad guy.
That our citizens are clinging back to life and reconstruct all those cities, we will continue to work day and night. It will be one of our priorities. Not only our hearts, but our hands will always be over the quake region in order to tackle the problems arising out of the increasing level of inflation, and in order to make sure that we are compensating the losses of welfare. We will focus on those areas. Of course, it is not hard for us to tackle those problems.
Like, people who are like, oh, what's so bad about Erdogan? Dude, imagine like Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin had sex and you know, they fused. They did the fusion dance, and that's been happening for like 30 years, okay? They've just been doing the fusion dance for 30 years. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I it's just everything that reactionary, backwards ass, like fundamentalist ass, you know, hyper authoritarian governments would do, he has done. Okay? So just normal USA? No, bitch. No. The United States has not experienced something like this yet. The United States' corporate corruption can only go so far. Okay? Sorry. The United States, like, individual corruption by political leadership can only go so far. It's nothing like that. The United States is led by corporations, okay? This is a little bit different. Recep Tayyip Erdogan is the corporation. Think about it like that, okay? He's the corporation that runs the country, if you want to think about it from like a corporate standpoint. Like, this is different. Like, I don't know how to describe it in American, with American terms. Like, Trump can't go so far for his own, to line up his own pockets, okay? In the same way that Erdogan has so successfully.
cannot intervene in the political destiny of Turkey. I am the Prime Minister of Turkey, I said back then. You will only receive your installments and your payments, I said. So what happened later? Till 2013, we continued to pay our debts. In 2013, we paid our last debt to them, and then we parted our ways with IMF. That is who we are. But what was the CHP saying? You should borrow loan from IMF. That is what you do, not us. And today is the day. 10 years have passed and we didn't receive any loan from IMF. And back then, the forex reserve of our central bank was $27.5 billion. What did they do? They said that they will bring $3 billion from UK, but they will not give you a single penny. So the long sharks know very well to whom they will give their money.
Your subs think it's because he's somewhat good, because he seems like he's immigrant friendly. He's using them. He's the reason why there's a civil war in Syria. So, Recep Tayyip Erdogan did take in 10 million immigrants, which is like a profound thing, even if it wasn't for humanitarian purposes. He took the 10 million immigrants, he took the 10 million refugees from Syria because he wanted to use them against the European Union, okay? He used them against the European Union. Now, 10 million in a country like Turkey, which only has 90 million people total, okay, over the span of like 5 fucking years is a lot, okay, especially for a poor country. So what he did basically is take on the refugees so he could fucking turn around, okay, he could turn around and tell Europe like, well, I'll release them to you if you ever piss me off. Whether there was a journalist that was like upsetting him or anything like that, he would just turn around and go, hey, thank you for the money. Thank you for the money that you guys gave us to house these migrants, which doubtful that he actually utilized the money to house these migrants at all. Okay? Abi sen neden mülteci düşmanlığı yapıyorsun? Hayır, ben mülteci düşmanlığı yapmıyorum. Ben mültecileri savunuyorum ama aynı zamanda Erdoğan'ın neden yaptığını anlatıyorum. Bu mülteci düşmanlığı değil. Salak salak konuşma. You defend illegals in America. Okay, my lord. I'm not saying that it's bad that he did that. I said it's profound, okay? But the real reason why he did that is, of course, not because he cares about the humanity of the Syrian population. If he cared about the humanity of the Syrian population or the Syrian refugees, he would be doing reintegration programs, okay? He would be working on housing initiatives, not necessarily using this massive population as a talking point against the European Union whenever he sees fit, okay? He did it originally for money and also so he could use it as a political pawn. Anytime European leadership frustrates him in any capacity, he turns around and he says, all right, I'll literally send them to the border of Greece right now. Okay? What should have happened, Erdogan used the immigrants in 2020, sending them to the borders. It was really worrying. Yeah, like what he should have done was work on reintegration measures and try to do his very best. But instead, that never happened. He took the money, he pocketed it, just like every other fucking time that there's been any kind of like cash inside of Turkey. And since then, he's just been using the other reason why the Syrian migrant thing, like the other way that he utilized the Syrian migrant situation was also by presenting himself once again as the leader of the Islamic world. Okay? This way, he can show to the rest of the Islamic world that he is in support of Muslims all around the world. He's defending Muslims all around the world. And as far as I understand, and I don't know what the actual situation is, but that got him a lot of support from the people that are in this crowd that see it as like a restoration of the caliphate. Okay.
Project. From tourism to sport, from energy to economy, we have achieved centennial works for our homeland, and of course we will improve our
Would the CHP
benchmarking.
kick the migrants out? Fuck no. No, they can't. They can't fucking do that. There's anything that the opposition says about like what they will do to the refugees is also bullshit, okay? No, they would not do that, and they can't really do that
In
either.
line with the dreams and the targets of our young people, there is no rest for the
CHP
weary. We will
gönderecek
not
%100
stop.
inanmıyorum buna. %100 inanmıyorum. Nereye gönderecekler amına koyayım? Nereye? Nereye gönderecekler? Avrupa'ya mı gönderecekler? Nereye gönderecekler? Yeah. He also used them for cheap labor. They literally passed a legislation that allows refugees to work without insurance. It's illegal to work without insurance in Turkey. Yeah, it created yet another structure for a permanent underclass in an identical capacity to the United States of America.
On a global scale, and we will strengthen the position of Turkey as a hub. Likewise, Mr. Putin
Trakya'nın hap bölgesi olması konusunu bu tebrik mesajında
has
tekrar etti.
once again repeated that the Thrace region should be a hub in his congratulation message. We will take additional steps in that regard, and we will turn the Thrace region into an energy hub.
Savunma sanayimizin marka değerini
So we will
artıracağız.
also improve the brand value of our defense industry.
En önemli aktörlerinden biri
What
haline
do most
getiren
people in Turkey think about the
tarım ve
refugees?
hayvancılıkta
In the field,
The conservative side likes the refugees because they are brothers in Islam, and the liberal side is actually very anti-refugee. I'll just say it in the most honest way possible. There is a lot of animosity towards Arab people across the board in the liberal side because, unfortunately, Recep Tayyip Erdogan has like presented himself as. I mean, this goes back to like. Even before the refugees that came to Turkey, Turkish people have always felt insecurities about being compared to the Arab world. They always have seen themselves as like something different. It's kind of like how the non-Muslim Lebanese will say they're Phoenician. If you ever tell like a Christian Lebanese person that they're Arab, they will get very mad at you. It's kind of like that. Yeah. So I've dealt with racism in Turkey as an Arab visiting for tourism. A lot of liberal Turks think they're European, not Middle Eastern. Yes. This is definitely an attitude that people have. For sure. There's like two. If I were to cut it in half, like there's two different components here. On the one side, you have the Islamist, more fundamentalist, more religious Turks, oftentimes in like rural areas of Turkey, that want to restore the former glory of the Ottoman Empire. He's the Islamic Caliphate's like restoration. He is the one who's like defending Islam against the Western perverts and the moral degeneracy. And on the other side, you have the liberals who are like, no, we are not like Arabs. We are not like Muslim. We're actually, even if some of us are Muslim, we're very progressive. We are eventually one day going to join the European Union. And both sides are huffing in copious amounts of copium, okay? That is the reality. Like, I'll just tell it to you how as it is. Now, obviously, one side's understanding of how the country should be run is closer to mine, at least, and that is the liberal side, who do happen to be more secular, who do happen to be believe in like civil liberties and whatnot. But the secular liberal side certainly still has a lot of animosity, a lot of xenophobic animosity, and a lot of anti-Arab sentiment, because they see all of the Arabs that have come in with foreign capital into Turkey under the Erdogan regime as like an invasion of capital, basically, an invasion of foreign capital at the behest of Recep Tayyip Erdogan. And they see Arabs as like lesser than. They see them as like fundamentalist, religious. And in some instances, the Arabs that are, of course, coming into Turkey, who collaborate with Erdogan, are fundamentalists. They are religious, right? Like, you have the Wahhabist elements and whatnot. So, but that doesn't mean that all Arabs are like that, obviously. And there is still that kind of sentiment regardless, this idea, this like anti-Arab sentiment regardless. Okay? The same goes for the Syrian refugees that Erdogan took in as well. It's just another extension of that. So that's what it is. That's why you'll see, I mean, I don't really cover this too much, but that's why you'll see a lot of like liberals who normally like what I have to say when I'm shitting on Erdogan, greatly deviate away from my perspective with respect to like Syrian migrants in Turkey. My issue with Syrian migrants in Turkey revolve around their treatment and their conditions, which Erdogan is using as like slave labor, basically, and also a political pawn across the board. I've said this over and over again. No matter what happens, I think that taking in refugees is not a bad thing. It's a good thing, but taking in refugees, especially a massive amount of refugees in a short period of time, is always going to come with a sequence of complications. So what you're supposed to do is focus immediately on reintegration and integration efforts, language programs, work training programs, and things of that nature, with a hope that you can inevitably create a successful pathway towards citizenship, instead of keeping them as second-class citizens within your borders who will be subject to a tremendous amount of economic oppression. And of course, when you are when you're subjected to that reality, okay, when you are second-class citizens, you're working for pennies on the fucking dollar. Of course, you're going to be, the same cycle of poverty and violence is going to happen within your communities. It's not even any different than what happens in Europe as well. Okay.
Dolayı teşekkür ediyoruz. Şimdi de Cumhur İttifakımızın değerli genel başkanlarını sizlere takdim ediyoruz.
All right. Well, that was it. That was President Erdogan's victory speech made there at the presidential complex in Ankara. He made an initial speech here in Istanbul.
As someone who admittedly doesn't know much about Turkey, I figured they were Arabs. Can you explain how they're not? My own ignorance made me think Turkey is predominantly Muslim. Yes, Muslim doesn't mean Arab, my friend. Like, Iranians are predominantly Muslim. They're not Arab. You know what I mean? Malaysia, Indonesia, like Indonesia is the largest, most populous Muslim nation on the planet. They're not Arab. There are plenty of places around the world that have that are not Arab that are Muslim. Turks are complicated to explain because, ethnically speaking, the Ottoman Empire was incredibly vast and incredibly powerful. And when you are a massive empire, you end up being hyper diverse. not dissimilar to what you see in the United States of America, for example. So while Turkish people are predominantly Turkic, that is their original ethnic background, there are still plenty of, there's still so much diversity within Turkey. That's why you have, Slavic-looking, blonde, blue-eyed Turkish people. That's why you have Turkish people that look like me. And that's why you have Turkish people that also look, Arab. I mean, we talk about solving the root of the problem, but you don't talk about how Erdogan literally supplied weapons to ISIS. He wanted there to be 10 million refugees. He bolstered the civil war. He certainly did. And when he did that, he was doing it at the behest of the United States government. It's not like he did that on his own. That actually helped him out ultimately. But he was doing that under the watchful eye of the United States of America. That's the whole point. That's why I always say this motherfucker is he is absolutely in collaboration, in cahoots. In cahoots with the U.S. State Department. The idea that he's not is a silly one. Okay? There was a big difference in the path and quality of life between Ukrainian and other refugees here. The Ukrainian refugees were allowed to work immediately, and they got a lot of support. Other refugees do not. The quality and trajectory of their lives are so different. The integration of the Ukrainian refugees have more positive effects. There was such a big difference in vote distribution in Turkey. Here in the Netherlands, 65% voted for Erdogan because the media they consume is so pro-Erdogan. The difference with people voting from abroad is staggering. People who can vote from a Turkish election from abroad are average more pro-Erdogan. Yeah. That is because they also benefit from the devaluation of the Turkish currency because, they could just fucking go to Turkey and buy whatever the fuck they want to buy for much cheaper. They also don't experience living in Turkey. They experience living in a European social democracy. And then Turkey is just a travel destination for them. A cheap getaway, exactly. The disdain that Turkish people abroad, the way that they fucking see Turkey is so crazy. It's like they just don't give a shit. They don't see it. The way that they see it is I don't know how to describe it. They just don't fucking care. It's a cheap travel destination for them. You know what I mean? Wait, what the fuck? Why isn't this live?
They're hoping that they can have a sort of a more positive atmosphere in the future. Incidentally, also Joe Biden has...
By the way, this is the state. This is the state broadcaster, so they're going to be pro-Erdogan. They're going to be glazing him.
Getting onto this NATO theme as on the same track, saying we're NATO partners. We're looking forward to working with you again on a number of global challenges. I think it's also interesting to mention there are not only lots of world leaders who are very friendly with Turkey, so countries like Russia, Azerbaijan, Ukraine, Uzbekistan, Pakistan, Qatar, these are all sending congratulatory messages as well, and these were some of the very first to send these messages. But also, we've got messages from countries
everyone's
that
so
have not
excited.
been getting on at all well with Turkey in recent
They're
years.
wishing
So
Turkey
within a couple of
well.
hours or so,
They're
there was a
very
message from
excited about
the Armenian
Turkey.
Prime Minister. These two countries having not had diplomatic relations at all until the past year or so because of various different issues, but largely related to the Azerbaijan-Armenia war of a couple of decades ago. Also, Egypt, the two leaders there not getting on at all. They're going through a rapprochement at the moment. Foreign ministers have had a meeting. Aid came from Egypt after the earthquakes, and there was an informal meeting of Recep Tayyip Erdogan and the Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi at the World Cup last year, and now there's talk even of a more formal meeting at some point in the near future. So not only sort of people who are great friends of Turkey, not only people who are falling somewhere in the middle, you would say, like some of the European Union leaders, but also people who have really been on bad terms with Turkey in the past, congratulating Recep Tayyip Erdogan at quite an early stage after his victory has been confirmed.
This is such a funny thing to consider here. Like you got like this British dude working for the Turkish state broadcaster trying to say Türkiye, which is like the new naming convention for Turkey, which is like the actual is how you say Turkish Turkey in Turkish. Like talking about how all of the allies and enemies alike are supporting Recep Tayyip Erdogan in the aftermath of this election.
Right,
it's like
live for us, Melinda. We've had the victory speech in Ankara, and earlier we had the victory speech in Istanbul, where you were. What has stood out for you in these two speeches by the president?
There were some similar sentiments echoed throughout both speeches, some common threads and some common refrains indicating just some particular more social areas that the president wanted to highlight. My colleague Andrew Hopkins was just talking about some of the more policy and political elements, but some of the social issues that he called out was really a bit of a nod to the acknowledgement that there will be a time of rebuilding and reuniting the country now. This has been a very polarizing election campaign. It was hard fought, the first time it's gone to a second round in Turkish history, an indication that the country is somewhat divided. So the president made reference in his first speech, and he echoed it in that speech in Ankara, that this is not just a win for his supporters, for the AK Party, for himself personally. This is a victory for the 85 million people of Turkey. And he said that he was really going to make an effort to win in a way that no one would lose. So a nod there to the fact that this is really a time for the country to come back together after what has been a divisive campaign.
And Melinda, as you've stood there, feeling the atmosphere, the mood today, and also in round one, what do you sense from the atmosphere and what people have told you that is that factor that has really pushed President Erdogan, back to power, or to continue being in power for another 5 years as president?
Not just the people we've spoken to here today, but it's also been similar refrains and sentiments from people we've been speaking to right throughout these 2 weeks leading into the second round. It's really been a turn towards stability. It's that continuity and that security that it seems that people were really striving for. And that's perhaps not unusual. In tumultuous times, this is globally an economically tumultuous time, people are maybe a little bit more risk averse. They don't want to go perhaps with an untested, an unknown candidate, an untested politician as to how that is going to play out for them on the home front, on the economic front. So it really did seem as if there was this sense of trust. And that is what people have turned to once again when they came out to vote in this second round. This idea that we know what has come before and nothing really is giving us any indication that there will be anything changing in the future insofar as a steady hand on the tiller as Turkey enters this new Turkish century.
Melinda Nusifora live from Istanbul. Thank you so much. All right, back now to Ali Can.
Maria, thank you very much. Joining me now in the studio is a very familiar face, Tarık Kozlu, Professor of International Relations at Istanbul's Aydın University, and another familiar face, Mehmet Akif Kireçi, also Professor of International Relations at Ankara University of Social Sciences. They both join me now. We're coming to the end of our special coverage. It has been a long night, but we've just listened to the president speak in Ankara at the presidential complex in front of tens of thousands of people. I think one of the central themes in the president's speech was that Turkey is entering its new century with a strong identity, a new Turkey. And in this respect, I want to talk about how Turkish foreign policy, some of the challenges in its region, geopolitically, how this is likely to evolve in the coming years. Tarık, let me start with you. What do you think is sort of one of the biggest areas of interest?
I think the new term of President Erdogan will be the continuation of this performance over the last 10 years. The concepts of strategic autonomy, Ankara-centric foreign policy, multidimensional foreign policy, multidirectional foreign policy, and all of this taking place in an emerging multipolar international environment used to be at the center of Turkish foreign policy thinking. And this will continue, which suggests that Turkey will continue to play great powers off against each other. Turkey's relations with Russia will continue as it used to be so now. And
all the
Turkey will do
buzzwords. I mean, it is
possible
important.
from my own perspective to improve the
Turkey's
relations with the
pathway.
European Union.
Turkey's pathway to success after all of this comes from China. Okay.
Just dropping out of the picture for the time
Technically.
coming. So which means that a pragmatic, strategic, short-term oriented and extremely national interest-based engagements with international actors will color Turkish foreign policy in the years to come. This is not something bad. This is what it needs to be actually, because we are living in a multipolar international environment. And Turkey is a mid-level country, is a middle power country. So it needs to play this game in order to score some geopolitical gains against other candidates. Which
I'm not
also
eating
suggests
this. A
that,
bug just fucking flew out of
Turkey's
this.
presence in
I'm
Middle
not
East,
eating it. No shot.
is quite important, because what happens in the Middle East,
Nope.
particularly in Syria, particularly in Iraq,
Nope,
very
that's,
much determines,
I'm
very
not
much
eating that.
have an influence on Turkish foreign
That was
policy.
fucking
so we have to
nasty.
be present in all of those regions.
Nope.
And we should also try to find a
Nope.
solution to the ongoing civil war in
A
Syria.
big
in
ass
close
fucking bug
cooperation
flew
with
out of it.
Russia,
What a
Iran,
first world
and
problem.
other
Yep.
interested actors.
Brother, this ain't North Korea, okay? I know Yami Parks, if she was in here, she'd be like, in North Korea, in North Korea, you order a salad sandwich or a salad, and it comes with a bug in it, and the bug is extra protein, and we eat the bug, and then the bug eats you. Not me. Not happening. Yeah, it flew out of it, dude. I'm not trying to fucking have some larva in my tummy, okay? I'm not trying to have a bunch of fucking bugs. Grow in my stomach. Look at this.
An extremely national.
That's a big ass bug too. You saw it. Look, you can see it on camera. Look how big that fucking bug is. Oh, still here, flying around, going crazy. Look at how big that thing is, dude. No fucking shot. First world problem until you get a disease named after you? Yeah, that's not happening for me. As per scientific research, goes in people's mouths like 8 to 9 times a year. Nope. Oh, fuck. Throw away the food and eat the bug? In North Korea, if you eat the bug they execute you on, this botfly larva is gnarly. They lay it under your skin. Yeah, no, I'm not happening. It's not happening. Of course, larva is going to breed in hydrochloric acid. Just eat it, pussy. Nope. If it landed on it for a second, I would eat it, but the fact that it's been flying in since they packaged it is gross. Exactly. I opened it. I opened the package and the bug was in it, and it fucking flew out of it. No shot. I think it's valid to not eat it. What are we thinking, boys? Are we rocking with the larva inside of the? Like I'm not exactly
An extremely nation.
Yeah, no. Ugh. Ugh. That's fuck no. Do a poll? No, I'm not. I'm not abiding by the rules of you fucking freaks in the chat. Italians eat cheese with larva? Yeah, bro. Do I look Italian to you? No, exactly. How dare you? You ate bugs on stream before? That is the #1 place on the planet for a fly to lay eggs. If it didn't, it's a shitty bug. Yeah. Oh, I hear it. Oh, shit. It's back. I'm going to try to kill it. Ah! Fuck. Almost got it. It's on top of the fucking... Bro, it's on top of the fucking... monitor. Look at it. I get it? Fuck, no. No. Almost. Like, I feel like I smacked it in flight, but it didn't work. It's full from all the salad you just ate? Yeah. It fucking is, dude. Ethnic Santa is outside of my stream room, yes. Ethnic Santa is going away, actually. You are anti-Islam, that's why you hate Erdogan? Yeah, totally. Bro, I gotta get that fucking bug. I at least need to kill it, you know what I mean? Like, to get my revenge. I need to do a revenge killing. My mom found a fly on her food. She bought the thing, had laid so many fucking eggs on the food. How can you even see it? Like, the eggs. Can you see the eggs? What do they look like? I have a salt gun, yes. I do. I don't know where it is, though. Why would you want to see them? Love how it flies in the background after you ask if you got it. Wait, let's watch this. Dude, this is like 17 layers of like chat. Hold on. This is way too dank right here. Hold on. Let me see if I can do it. Here, we'll close off this at least. So I get it? Fuck, no. Fuck. Let's run it back. Slow motion. Oh, so close. Look at that. God damn. I get it. Nope. I did not. Sounded like a video game. It sounded like Snake dying. Oh, I see it again. It's in my sights again. Fucking guy. He fucking runs the goddamn show up in here. He thinks this is his stream, dude. All right, well, let's move on from Turkey's catastrophe to at least a little bit of Angry Birds, okay? Because apparently Angry Birds have made people very angry. What do I mean by this? Well, it turns out that they came out, the Birdstone creator just got a much-needed pride flag update. Warms my cold heart just a little, okay? They went woke. What's next? You know, fuck. And bitch, now I feel like the bug is just like fucking with me. You know what I mean? Like, don't you feel like sometimes these flies will be like, they get like, they know that they can like survive now that he knows he's like got me. It's trying to like fuck with me. He's like, yeah, bitch, what are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? God, I'm so upset. That's why they rub their arms again. Yeah, they go like, yeah, fuck this guy. Anyway, the Birdstone creator got a much needed pride flag update. People got very upset. People got very, very upset. You move in slow motion for the fly, just so you know. Damn. So it's even cooler when I actually do kill him. Lift Kaya towards the sky, have her eat the bug. Bro, Kaya is not fast enough. If I can't get this fucking bug, Kaya will definitely not be able to get this bug. So, there was anyway, listen, there was the Angry Birds went woke, and then people got people got real fucking mad about it, I guess. Where is it? I saw a guy like angrily deleting all of his. Oh, he's back. She's back. Fuck. Lol, Kai has a better reaction time than you? No, she doesn't. Kai is looking and learning. Good. Fucking asshole bug. Jesus Christ. It flew again. Don't attack above the fly. They have perfect sight above them. Wait, what do you mean? That's how you're supposed to kill them, no? I thought you're supposed to like literally clap in the direction that you assume they're going to. Make your hand like a cup, move it from behind in a swooping motion to catch it. Yeah, you're supposed to move up from behind. You have to hover your hand vertically, horizontal. Well, usually the best way to get them is when they're towards a window. I have a 100% murder rate when it comes to a bug that's on the window. I don't know why. Something fucks them up. When they're on a window, they just like have no fucking clue. Okay? Oh, wait. The account has been suspended. No! I can't even show you the thing. The video of the guy angrily fucking deleting all of the Angry Birds off of his phone. Angry Birds watching They Are Naked uninstalled their game finally. Fuck, that sucks. Anyway, yeah, if you ever want to murder a fly, go after... If you ever want to murder a fly, go after them when they foolishly are on a window. Because for some reason, they like literally love bouncing on the window, and you could just fucking clap them. I don't know what it is. Bring both hands together from both sides until about 8 inches apart and slam them together. They're trying to get outside, but don't understand the concept of glass. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Are you saying that if you suddenly stop moving in midair, you'd be worried about shit going on around you? What? It's actually a mathematical problem. A fly is more likely to find its way out of a window if it crawls on the walls instead of flying in a 3D space room. They're dumb. You and Chad are both wrong about how to catch those bugs. Okay, dude. You can see him escape. I don't want to see it again. Flies can sense air pressure from swinging at them. You have to get close slowly. You can't just get them in the air. You need to wait till it lands and clap above them so when it takes off again vertically, you will clap it. Yeah, no, that's usually how I do it. The only real solution is to raise it on your own. Dude, I will not be raising this fucking fly. I will... Yeah. I'll be raising my fist against this fly, okay? Just like you should be raising your subscriptions against the top of the hour ad break.
Damn, this guy's good.